and you could walk away with a new job. Amazon is proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
Your home value is way up. Why not use it to make your home even nicer with a new kitchen or bathroom? Hey, Willie here. So many of our listeners are doing this with Loan Pronto, thanks to their zero-cost cash-out refi program. Call Loan Pronto now. They're fast-tracking home refis for the year-end, and people are getting checks for 60, 70, 100 grand or more. It's fast and easy. It's your money, money you can use to add even more value to your home. Imagine 2022 with that all-new luxurious kitchen you've been dreaming about, or start building that pool so it's going to be ready for the summer. Call Loan Pronto now. See how easy it is to use the equity in your home and walk away with the big check. They can even pay your closing costs, and you can skip your next 2 house payments. Call 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. That's 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans apply.
Zines First is the official sign company for 1025 The Game. Go to sfnash.com.
Attention Nashville, 3-Day Blinds is here to solve your window treatment needs. 3-Day Blinds has more than 40 years of experience designing, installing, and manufacturing high-quality custom window treatments. We transform homes with custom blind shade shutters and drapery with expert in-home design consultations. Your 3-Day Blinds design consultant is with you every step of the way, including setting up your installation. Book your free in-home design consultation today at 3dayblinds.com. That's 3dayblinds.com.
Nashville's best sports talk, locally owned, home of our Nashville Predators. WPRT-FM Pegram, 97.5 Murfreesboro, WBUZ HD2 Laverne, online at thegamenashville.com. We are
ESPN
102.5 The Game. Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman. On Nashville's best sports talk,
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman & Company is delivered by TriStar Moving, ESPN 102.5 The Game, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Caroline Fenton is here today. Hello, Caroline.
Hello, happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday to you, Ian. How are you today?
What up, what up?
I am doing outstanding.
Wow.
Even though neither of you guys decided to ask me how I was doing, I just want to let everybody know that I am doing outstanding today.
I'm so happy to hear that.
And I am outstanding for many reasons, but, well, now I'm a lot less happy because I just broke my little fireball bracelet. But
oh, sad.
I've had that for I
feel like you know a guy there, though. They
2
could probably
years.
hook it up with another
I've had that for
one.
2 years, though. Anywho, that's okay. I am outstanding because, well, I'll just leave it at this. There are a lot of people. This is a very popular radio show. It's been a very popular radio show for a while. And it seems that this show just becomes more and more popular and that other shows just seem to become less and less popular. And
funny how that works.
That information just happens to be out there. And we're very, very happy today. You know, not that the other shows are less popular, although we're not disappointed by that either. But we're just very, very happy about the information that we received today. And big shout out to Robbie and Joe, who just keep on crushing it. Darren, Donica, Chase do a great job, too. But a big shout-out to our friends Robbie and Joe. They just keep on trucking along.
They're killing it.
And, you know, not to say that this hasn't been a long time in the making, because it hasn't. And it's not to say that it's done, because, I mean, who cares? But more importantly, we were kind of looking back on where things were when I first joined the radio station, where they are now, and it's just, it sometimes just kind of knocks the wind out of you a little bit to think about. And obviously, I know that none of this would be possible without the help of the old man, who obviously is no longer with us, but who helped build this station as much as anybody else. Now, speaking of Robbie and Joe, Joe Rexrode. I'm reading in The Athletic. I re-upped my subscription, which I don't know if that was a good idea or not. We'll decide that at a later date. But Joe Rexrode has the predictions for the Titans in the second half. And I had to text Joe earlier today, and I'm like, I feel like these are from like a fan website, like that a fan wrote these predictions, including his predictions about the Titans starting running back going forward. He thinks it's going to be Adrian Peterson, which he wrote in The Athletic in Joe Rexrode's 6 second half predictions. He said, look for Peterson to get the most carries, Foreman to have his moments, and Jeremy McNichols to mostly stay in his role as a third down back for the rest of the season. Joe said that. And that reminded me, on Jared versus Joe yesterday, Joe said this about Adrian Peterson being the running back of the Titans. Take a listen.
That might be true this week, just because those guys are coming in fresh. But Adrian Peterson will have the most touches of those three guys. McNichols' role I think will expand some, but I disagree that he's going to be like a steady diet guy on first down or a heavy rotation ball, running the football guy. I think Jeremy McNichols' role ultimately will be about the same. They brought in those two guys to try to piece together something like the physical, outside zone running game that they play, and those are the guys that they're going to lean on to do that. Jeremy McNichols will be in there blocking on third down and catching passes. I do think Sunday it's that transitional game. I don't know how comfortable they're going to feel with one or both of the new guys, but ultimately Adrian Peterson, as long as he's healthy, will end up with the most touches.
Okay. This goes back to me thinking that these are fan takes that are coming from Joe Rexrode, because if the fans were to get to vote, Adrian Peterson would get the carries. I mean, if the fans were to vote, the Titans would be trading right now or waiting for the Browns to release Odell Beckham Jr., and then they'd go sign Odell Beckham Jr. because he's Odell Beckham Jr. Now, don't take into account that he's burned every bridge that he's ever had in the NFL, and that Cleveland can't get rid of him fast enough, and that he hasn't caught a meaningful ball in 5 years, but he's Odell Beckham Jr., which takes me back to Joe's take. I think there's a lot of people out there that are like, this is Adrian Peterson we're talking about. Adrian Peterson is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Adrian Peterson is the man. Adrian Peterson this. Adrian Peterson that. But Adrian Peterson is not Adrian Peterson anymore. If he was the ADAP that he's been for his entire career, the career that will get him into Canton, he wouldn't be on your practice squad right now. He wouldn't have been 4 days ago on nobody's roster or practice squad. He's an old AP. Just like when Andre Johnson came to the Titans in 2016, and he was an old Andre Johnson. He made one big catch on the road, a game-winning touchdown against the Detroit Lions. I think he played like 7 games, and then he retired in the middle of the year because it was like, screw this, I'm done. That's what, to me, Adrian Peterson is. Paul Peterson. But Joe says in The Athletic and on our show, Peterson's going to be the running back. So, do we think, and this is open for everybody, do we think that the Titans plan, maybe not this week against the Rams, but that the Titans plan for the season until Derrick Henry returns is for Adrian Peterson to get the lion's share of the carries?
I don't know. Definitely not this week. I mean, I just don't think that he's immersed enough in this offense and this team to be able to get a majority of the carries against Los Angeles. So I don't think that's their plan. I would have a really tough time believing that they are going to rely on Adrian Peterson to be their number one guy. I think that Jeremy McNichols, in my opinion, is going to get the starting nod. Adrian Peterson is going to be kind of supplemental, and he's going to be there for support. He's going to be there if they try to add more on Jeremy McNichols' plate and he just can't handle it. Then that's what Adrian Peterson is for, to pick up the pieces. But I would have a hard time believing that the Titans aren't going to take advantage of this time that they can develop and develop Jeremy McNichols and give him the touches that he's worked for.
Ian, do you think Adrian Peterson, for the next month and a half, will get the lion's share of the carries in the run-first Titans offense?
This week, I don't know, but I tend to.
I'm not talking about this week. I'm talking about
yeah.
once they get him in here and whatever.
I kind of think so. Yeah.
But he's old.
Yeah. I just if you use McNichols as the main running back, who's your third down back?
McNichols.
McNichols again? You just play him all the time like Henry?
That's kind of where I was. Ian was like, that's a lot to put on his plate.
So I think
to be the first down and the third down.
I think we're looking at this like that. Like I think we're pigeonholing these positions. It's like, okay, you're the first down back and you're the third down back, which makes sense when you've got Eddie George as your first, second, and third down back. But then on a third and long, you might bring Rodney Thomas into the game. Now, Rodney Thomas was a good backup running back. He had rushed for 1,000 yards before Eddie George got here. But, like, that's how the Titans did it when they had Eddie George was first and 10, Eddie, second and 10, Eddie, second and 5, Eddie, second and 3, Eddie, third and 2, Eddie, third and 8, maybe Rodney. Like, that's how they did it, which is kind of the same way around here, right? First and 10, Derek. Second and 10, Derek. Second and 5, Derek. Second and 3, Derek. Third and 8, McNichols. That's how they've done it. But what I think they're going to do is I think McNichols is first and 10, McNichols. Second and 10, McNichols. Second and 5, Peterson or Foreman. Third and 3, Peterson. I think Peterson gets in the game, and I think Peterson's going to get carries, and I think Foreman is probably going to get some carries. But I think that first and 10, I think that right now, for the most part, McNichols is the guy. Second and 6 plus, McNichols is going to be in the game. Second and 6 minus, I could see one of the other guys being in the game. I also think what you're going to see is on some first and 10s, you're going to see Peterson. On some first and 10s, you're probably going to see Foreman. But it's not like, okay, you're the first down back, you're the second down back, you're the third down back. I think in any passing situation, third down and long, McNichols is in the game. Mm-hmm. Now, what I wouldn't also be surprised to see is if they use Kari Blasingame when he's healthy as a third down pass protection back. The one thing the Titans have done, and I know they don't like doing this, and Todd Downing has had to do it, but one thing they've done a lot of lately with injuries on the offensive line is they bring Jeff Swaim in the game on third down passing situations, which you would never do, right? Like a run-blocking tight end on 3rd and 11. But what they're doing basically is they're telling the other team, hey, he's not running out into the pattern. We're going to have 6 offensive linemen, and he's the 6th, so he's support for the tackle, which I don't love because you're taking away an option and you're telling the other team, who's not going to be running out into the pattern, but you are offering support to your offensive line, which I like. I think you're going to see a lot of Jeremy McNichols, and I think about it like this. At some point with older players, like old star veteran players, at some point they get squeezed out for some guy who's ultimately long-term a nobody. Andre Johnson, when he was here, was squeezed out for Tajay Sharp. Tajay Sharp's career compared to Andre Johnson's career. Come on. But that's what happened. And that's why I look at bringing in Adrian Peterson. To me, bringing Adrian Peterson in is the same as if you were to bring Delaney Walker in to play tight end. Because everybody here calls it, what about Delaney? What about Delaney? Bring back Delaney. Obviously, they're not going to bring back Delaney. Even for veteran minimum, they're not going to bring back Delaney. And we know they could use a tight end. But they just think Delaney is too old to help. But the fans think, well, he's Delaney, and so he could come in and help. But they know better than that. Eddie George, when he got released by the Titans, and Floyd told me this story, that he told Eddie, hey, you're only averaging 2+ yards per carry with us, but that's all we want from you. We want you to be the same Eddie that's averaging like 3 yards a crack and be the same Eddie who got 1,000 yards last year, and just you be that Eddie. That's what we want. But we can't pay you like a top-of-the-league running back with this Eddie that we want. But Eddie felt, and I can't speak for Eddie, but I think Eddie felt like he was, he had earned a certain amount of respect. and that if the Titans asked him to take a pay cut, that would be kind of not showing him that respect. And again, I can't speak for Eddie. I don't know exactly how Eddie felt. But Eddie went to Dallas for the amount of money that Floyd was asking Eddie to take here. And so Floyd had to release Eddie, and it was one of the worst days for him to let go of an Eddie George. But it's what happened. Eddie goes to Dallas. Part of his thing was, hey, you're not going to be the same Eddie wherever you go, but they're going to want that Eddie. So Eddie goes to Dallas, and they want the 3.5 yards per carry Eddie George. They want the Eddie George that was an all-pro. Eddie goes in there. He's the Eddie at the end of his career, and they start giving the ball to Marion Barber II over giving the ball to Eddie George. And you would say to yourself, who's Marion Barber? In fact, I'm not even sure if Marion Barber is the right name. I think that's the right name of the running back who Eddie had like this all-time streak of starts where he started like 200-something games in a row, and it ended in Dallas because they decided to start Marion Barber. And that would have never happened here, but it's just the point that Dallas thought they were getting Eddie George, and they really weren't getting the same Eddie George anymore because Eddie was older. And that's where I look at Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson is old. And so while it's crazy to think that Jeremy McNichols would be getting more handoffs than Adrian Peterson, I just think that it is going to be a running back by committee thing. Mm-hmm. So if you're moving the chains really well with Foreman, which you did for the one drive that he got to play against Cincinnati last year, if you're moving the ball with Foreman, then you're going to keep giving it to Foreman. But I think what you're going to see is the offense with Jeremy McNichols look a lot like it looked when Vrabel first got here with Matt LaFleur, which was an offense with Dion Lewis as the starting running back and not Derrick Henry. I also find it laughable that Joe, who is the biggest defender of the starting Dion Lewis over Derrick Henry decision, which was one of the dumbest decisions that Mike Vrabel has allowed to have had happen while he's been head coach of the Titans. Joe, who defends the Dion Lewis over Derrick Henry, is now sitting there saying, bring in old man Peterson because we can't give the ball to McNichols too much. This is going to go back to that Dion Lewis thing, I think. And they ran the ball. They didn't run it like they ran it now. But even with these three guys, they're not going to run it like they've been running it with Derrick Henry.
You can't.
You can't expect them to run it like they've run it with Derrick Henry. There's nothing about it. But that's what I think we're going to see. And yet maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Peterson does become the guy, and Peterson gets 17 touches a game. I just can't see it. I can't see Adrian Peterson getting 17 touches a game. And I don't care about what Adrian Peterson did 5 years ago. Now, I don't care what Adrian Peterson did 8 years ago. It's just a miracle that he's still around in the NFL. But like this idea that it's Adrian Peterson. I think I struggle with that.
But I also struggle to think that Jeremy McNichols is going to get 17, 18, 19, 20 touches a game as well.
So I want to hit on what you just brought up there. You are worried about the amount of touches for Jeremy McNichols.
Yes.
You're not the only one. We'll get to that next. 615-737-1025, because I think there's a very important point that I want to make, and we will do that coming up next. 615-737-1025, Stillman and Company. We will be giving away a pair of tickets to see DaBaby later today as well. Go to theGameNashville.com/deals to check out Nashville's best deals. Current deals include half-off gift cards for Retro Snow, Fat Cat Slim, Central Barbecue, Joyland in East Nashville, and Bad Axe Throwing. Get your deal now at theGameNashville.com/deals. Also, ESPN 94.9 is the official English radio home of the Nashville Soccer Club. Listen in this Sunday as Nashville SC takes on the New York Red Bulls at Nissan Stadium. Pregame 2:15 and the match is at 2:30. Stillman and Company, it's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
The Titans season has taken a turn with the Derrick Henry injury.
This is bad for the Titans. And unfortunately, I think there's going to be a lot of responsibility put onto the shoulders of people who aren't good enough to do it.
For all the latest on the King.
It makes getting through the end of the season seem so much more menacing now that you don't have that guy.
Keep it locked on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Saturday means college football, and Dos Equis Lager is perfect for celebrating your team's win over that rival school, whose name we will not mention. Dos Equis is a golden Pilsner-style beer that's perfect for enjoying with friends on game day. Grab a case for your next tailgate party, game day get-together, or alone time after a devastating loss. Dos Equis, a proud sponsor of college football. Get a dose. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2021. Recorded by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Got chronic joint pain? Not having success with steroids, but trying to avoid surgery? Well, thankfully, there's a better way. And now it's available here from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics. Hey, Willie Donick here. I'm talking about new therapies. Advanced, all-natural, regenerative treatments that can not only just give you relief, but can also restore and repair damaged tissue so you can have lasting relief. If you've got joint pain due to arthritis, knee pain, hip pain, shoulder pain, don't just think the old ways of dealing with pain are the only ways. You need to learn more about these new biologic therapy solutions. Call now for a free consultation. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. These remarkable new treatments increase mobility, decrease pain, and help restore tissue. They actually encourage your body to heal itself. Call now and learn more about these restorative, regenerative, and revolutionary alternatives. Don't wait. Call today. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024.
Delta Dental of Tennessee, now offering dental and vision plans. Learn more at deltadentaltn.com.
Attention Nashville, 3 Day Blinds is here to solve your window treatment needs. 3 Day Blinds has more than 40 years of experience designing, installing, and manufacturing high-quality custom window treatments. We transform homes with custom blind shade shutters and drapery with expert in-home design consultations. Your 3 Day Blinds design consultant is with you every step of the way, including setting up your installation. Book your free in-home design consultation today at 3dayblinds.com. That's 3dayblinds.com.
The 1025 The Game text line is driven by Wilson County Hyundai. Online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. Be a part of the conversation. Call or text the game at 615-737-1025.
It's the official Bud Light Preds watch party as the Predators take on the Dallas Stars Wednesday the 10th. Puck drops at 7:30, but the party starts at 7 with all kinds of specials. See you at headquarters, Beercade, downtown Nashville on 2nd Avenue. Go Preds!
Tune in every Monday at 8 a.m. and Friday at 3:15 to hear News 2's Corey Curtis take on all things Nashville sports, including the week's NFL games. All brought to you by Invigorate Health in Mount Juliet. Look and feel your best with IV therapy, medical weight loss, testosterone, body shaping, and more.
If you've missed any of today's show, just search Stillman and Company on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform.
Now, Adrian Peterson's role will be determined at a later point, but stylistically, how does he fit into what you guys like to do and your identity on it?
Well, I think he's always run extremely hard. I think he's, been decisive. He's been strong with the football. So, again, we'll see where he's at this week and, work towards the end of the week and see who's going to end up helping us.
There you go. That was Mike Vrabel talking about Adrian Peterson's role and not committing to anything whatsoever. So
that's new.
So you, Caroline Fenton.
Yes, hello.
You were worried about Jeremy McNichols' touches.
I was. I am. I still am.
Why are you worried about Jeremy McNichols' touches? It should be noted for the record, Derrick Henry touches the ball 29.65 times per game. Round up, he touches it 30 times a game.
It's a lot.
30 times a game that Derrick Henry either gets a handoff or runs the football. And Jeremy McNichols, and I am adding this up as we speak, currently has 7 rushes on the season. And he's played 8 games apparently. He has 7 rushes on the season, and he has 21 catches. So what is that, 28?
28 total, yeah.
28, he touches it 4 times a game. So Jeremy McNichols touches it 4 times a game. Derrick Henry touches it 30 times a game. It should be noted he was hurt for that Bills game, though he did play. So it's really more like 28 divided by 7 because Blasingame had to play a lot of that. Still 4 times a game. So Jeremy McNichols touches the ball 4 times a game. Derrick touches it 30. So you've got 34 touches between the 2 running backs. You have Peterson, McNichols, and Foreman. How many touches of those 34 go around, because you are in the crew of Jeremy McNichols has never touched the ball 30 times a game in the NFL, and you worry about Jeremy McNichols touching the ball 30 times a game in the NFL, correct?
Correct. I don't think he can't do it. It just worries me because we haven't seen him do it.
So I would think about it like this. And what did I say like all this week? 19 touches a game, maybe 19, 18 touches
yeah,
for
you
McNichols.
said upper teens.
You know, so I'm not saying that now all of a sudden I want Jeremy McNichols to touch it 30 times a game because Derrick Henry did. So if you've got 34 touches and you take away 19, you still have 15 touches to go around between the two, Peterson and Foreman.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's a little greedy. But I still think that's probably what you're going to get out of the Titans. And my message would be to the Jeremy McNichols can't do it crew. My message would be, how do we know until he gets the opportunity? This is what bothered me about Derrick Henry in the 2018 season was everybody kept saying, you know, Derrick can't do it. And Floyd and I used to argue like every single day about whether or not Derrick Henry was getting enough of a chance in 2018. And Floyd would say, Derrick, I looked at the rushes. He got -2, +1, -1, -2. I can't keep giving him the ball. Kept being like that kind of theory. And I looked at it and I was like, yo, he's getting 5 carries against the Dallas Cowboys, but he's averaging 5.5 yards on those carries. So if you gave it to him 10 times and he's averaging 5.5 yards a carry, I'd say keep giving it to him. Derrick Henry last year, or in 2018, against the Cowboys, 6 carries for 27. That's 4.5. And one of those was a 1-yard touchdown. So he couldn't have gotten any more yards. Against the Patriots, 11 for 58, 2 of which were touchdowns. He averaged 5.2 yards a carry. 9 for 46, 5.1 yards a carry. 8 for 30, 3.75. 10 for 40, 4 yards a crack. Like, that's good. Like, that's good, but they wouldn't give him the ball. McNichols, I'm not saying he's averaging 4.5 yards per carry on 7 carries for the season. I'm not saying he's a 4.5 yards per carry back. But I'm just saying he hasn't proven to us that he can't handle that. And so the idea of, well, I don't know if Jeremy McNichols can go from 4 touches a game to 19 touches a game. I don't know either. But I think he's in a position to where we're going to learn. Can Jeremy McNichols touch it 17 times a game? Maybe he's too small to take that kind of beating. Maybe you do need to give it to Foreman more. I don't know the answer to that. I just think you don't know until you try it. It's like Anthony Ferkser, where I never really thought that Anthony Ferkser was a starting tight end in the NFL because he couldn't block. And the Titans never trusted him to block at any point. And so I said, he's not a starting tight end. And everybody kept saying, no, Ferkser has earned the role. And Kevin Byard said he's going to be a top flight player. And Delaney Walker said he's got elite tight end skills. And I'm like, I'm okay. I guess I'm willing to try it. You know, Ferkser's been an okay backup the last couple of years. Maybe they can kind of figure it out a little bit. I've seen enough. He's not a starting tight end. And he's never going to be a starting tight end. He is what he is. And so I just keep looking at this right now where I feel like the Titans are. And I'm not saying, when I say this, because I can see Joe saying it, I can see it for 4 hours on a loop on the morning show. And I can just see, oh, yeah, Jeremy McNichols is touching all the time. I'm not saying that I'm giving the ball to McNichols 18 times a game and I'm expecting Derrick Henry results with it. I'm not saying that I expect McNichols to do great with it. I'm just saying I think he's earned the opportunity, and I'm not sure the other 2 guys have done enough, in my opinion, or are good enough anymore to deserve an opportunity that they haven't earned.
Well, it can't earn an opportunity if you're not on the team.
No, but I think
I think Adrian Peterson has proved himself plenty throughout his career. Now, can he do what he has done?
What Adrian Peterson did in Detroit last year is not proving yourself enough to be able to do what is going to be asked of him.
Yes, as of late, no, he has not proved himself to be a starting running back in the league. That's not what he is anymore. And I'm not in the Jeremy McNichols can't do it crowd. I am apprehensive when it comes to Jeremy McNichols just because we haven't seen him do it. And you bring up the size element. Derrick Henry can run the ball 30 times a game because he is such a physical anomaly, because he is so massive and so strong and so powerful. So that's another thing that I worry about is not only can Jeremy McNichols handle the workload, but can his body physically hold up against a beating? Because he's definitely going to be getting a beating against the Los Angeles Rams.
Dion Lewis was small. They gave him the ball.
Yes, but did they give him the ball 20 times a game?
I mean, they gave Dion Lewis more.
I'm not saying he can't. I just worry.
And Joe thinks it was a good idea that they gave Dion Lewis the ball way more than Derrick Henry. Let's go to Dion Lewis in that 2018 season, because I am kind of wondering about that too, about how much did they give him the ball. Because you all know me. I think Dion Lewis sucks, and I've always thought Dion Lewis sucked outside of when they signed him. I thought when they signed him it was good, but then when he got here, I'm like, he stinks. Dion Lewis running the football, 16, 14, 9, 4, 12, 5, 13, 19, 20, 10, then Derrick took over. So, I mean, they were giving it to him. 13,
a good bit.
16, 10, 19. That's what I'm expecting out of McNichols.
I mean, I think my biggest concern lays here is let's say if Jeremy McNichols can't handle it and he does get hurt, this is still a run-first team. This team isn't just going to transform magically into a completely different offense just because there's no Derrick Henry. So let's say, hypothetically, knock on wood, Jeremy McNichols does get hurt. Now you're down another running back. You've got Adrian Peterson and Foreman that you rely on.
And Hilliard. And I don't know anything about Hilliard.
I don't either.
But at that point, you're going to the well of like Skip Hicks.
Yes.
That's where.
And I know that scared money don't make money. I get that. But I approach Jeremy McNichols with caution.
615-737-1025. Your objection is noted. And I'm not saying it's wrong.
There is no right or wrong at this point.
He got hurt 3 weeks ago. McNichols did. And barely played in that Bills game. So I'm not saying it's wrong. I just think I think they're giving the ball to McNichols. That their plan is we're going to give it to Jeremy. And that doesn't mean that it's going to work. And we've seen guys make plans all the time. We talk about the Braves trading for all these outfielders, right? Mm-hmm. There was a player that was on their bench in the playoffs named Orlando Arcia. And Orlando Arcia was the starting shortstop for the Brewers a couple years ago. He fell out of favor there, so the Braves traded for him. And I went to a game where they played the Sounds, the Gwinnett team did. And Arcia was playing the outfield because Marcell Ozuna had already gotten suspended. So they were trying to see if this guy could learn the outfield and put him out there. And they tried him in the outfield. The problem was he wasn't very good. So then they said, well, we got to go trade for more outfielders who are better. And that's what they ended up doing. And I'm not saying that McNichols is going to get the ball and we're not going to say, yeah, Jeremy is a third down back and he needs to stay a third down back. I just think it's going to be more like he'll be out there a lot like in the Dion Lewis role when Dion was the starter, and the other two will be like Derrick Henry was when Dion was the starter.
Supplemental.
Yes. That's what I think you're going to see. I also think, you think about these Patriot teams that have been really good over the years, like running back by committee kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
Remember when they had Dion Lewis, but they also had LeGarrette Blount? I think that's going to be kind of what they are, with Foreman probably being the LeGarrette Blount and McNichols being the Dion Lewis. And they're going to move them in and out. And that's why, to pigeonhole it as, hey, you're the running back and you're the third down back, I don't think is fair right now, because that's not what I think they're going to be doing, whereas that is what you do when you've got Fred Taylor, Corey Dillon, Edgerrin James, Eddie George, Derrick Henry. That's how you do it is, hey, Corey Dillon, you're the running back. And I don't think the Titans will do that with McNichols, though they might on Sunday. And I also don't know this, and I'm sure that whatsoever. You get slaughtered by the Rams, fine.
I think that's just kind of what people expect. And I know we said this going into the Bills game and the Chiefs game. You got nothing to lose. Just stay healthy.
But now it's a different nothing to lose because you really
have nothing
to lose.
Just stay healthy and get back, and then get back in the saddle.
Although you did win all these games that you had nothing to lose, and you did win the game that you had everything to lose, and then even though you won those games, you then lost everything when you didn't lose the actual game.
Yeah, it's like, we won the AFC South, but what did it cost? Everything.
What did you cost?
Yeah, everything.
Exactly. 615-737-1025. We are to your phones on this. Plus, maybe some good news on the Julio front. We'll touch on that as well. Edmunds, my guys, my friends at Edmunds. Thank you to Edmunds for sponsoring the show. There are deals on new and used vehicles, and they're harder to find nowadays because of car shortages and increased demand. And there is a lot of stress when it comes to researching prices and fitting it all into your budget. Buying a car is a major financial commitment and is often an overwhelming process. And that's why Edmunds has been taking the stress out of the entire car shopping process for over 50 years. Used car prices and values are continuing to climb to a new record high. I think this is the opportunity for you to trade in your vehicle, and Edmunds knows that as well. I pulled up Edmunds the other day. I was just looking around at a Sprinter van trying to see what you had and what would work and what wouldn't. And I will tell you this. I think that Edmunds is fantastic, and it was fantastic for me when looking up these Sprinter vans to see what worked and what didn't work for me. Over 50 years of car shopping. That's right. Over 50 years of car shopping advice and price guidance all in one place. Car shopping can be stressful. Edmunds is here to help. Visit Edmunds.com to get your free online appraisal today and start searching for vehicles in your area. That's EDMUNDS.com. For cars, there's Edmunds.
Friday night.
Forsberg shoots and scores. Battle for the rebound. Saros got to it.
The Predators' road trip continues from the Pacific Northwest when they clash with the Vancouver Canucks. Pre-game at 8. Face-off at 9.
On ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Hillside Medical Clinic. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, we have a major medical breakthrough. The WAVE technology at Hillside Medical Clinic was tested by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic, and the results are in. It's proven to increase blood flow by repairing blood vessels. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED by treating the root cause, call us now. And not only will the assessment and blood flow ultrasound be free, we'll also include something unique that produces powerful results in the bedroom. I don't think I've ever seen it fail. This is a $600 value, free to those that call in the next 2 minutes. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your love life back. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now to qualify. 615-576-5000.
Genesis Diamond's biggest and final sale of the year is here this weekend. It's an incredible event with savings of 20%, 25%, even up to 35% store-wide. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, nothing's held back for this once-a-year 3-day extravaganza. Acclaimed designers are here with expanded collections and extraordinary pricing. Plus, get 0% interest financing. The final store-wide sale of the year with discounts up to 35% this Friday, Saturday, and yes, open Sunday for this great event. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
When Genesis Diamonds has a sale, you know it's the real deal, and it's happening this weekend. Our final store-wide sale of the year with deep discounts up to 35% off. This is the big one. The one where the staff knows they can break all the rules. Plus, the selection is nearly doubled with designers here from LA and New York with their entire collections, all of it on sale. This is the last and best jewelry buying opportunity of the year. Save up to 35%, zero interest financing. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
This Saturday, it's an SEC West doubleheader.
Touchdown, Auburn. Touchdown, A&M.
The Auburn Tigers visit Texas A&M.
Touchdown, Tigers. Touchdown, Alabama.
Followed by LSU at Alabama. Doubleheader coverage begins at 2
on ESPN
94.9 and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, this is Gary Bettman. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
How optimistic are you about Julio in the short term here in the next few weeks?
I mean, I'm always optimistic, about the guys that are, weren't with us last week, that they're continuing to improve and continue to be available. And, we'll see, obviously how he responds here the next couple of days of practice, and got some other guys that are in that same category.
That's Mike Vrabel. He doesn't want to. So Chase and Darren hear that, and they think that means that Mike Vrabel does not like Julio. Those kind of answers.
I have a really tough time reading too far into any of Mike Vrabel or Ryan Tannehill's answers, and that's no knock on them. It's just very rarely give you any sort of peek behind the curtain to how they're really feeling. I don't think that really tells you anything about Mike Vrabel's feelings toward Julio. That's my interpretation of it.
I think Vrabel sometimes you can spot things with. Tannehill, you're probably right. Like, I think when Tannehill wants to tell you something, like he tells you, like, yeah, I didn't want to get the vaccine, but I did. Or, yeah, I thought it was disrespectful that I didn't make the Pro Bowl. Like, when Tannehill wants to tell you something, like, he's not a controversial guy. But when he does want to tell you something, I kind of think he will. When Vrabel wants to tell you something, I do think he hides messages in places. I don't think he's hiding a message there with Julio. I think I don't want to talk about Julio being hurt anymore. And all you guys are going to do is ask me about Julio. So when you ask me if Julio might play, I'll say, hey, I'm hopeful that everybody gets back out there. But TD will join us for the TD Power Hour. Good news on this front, apparently. Julio Jones has practiced 2 days in a row. And one of the videos I'm looking at from Jim Wyatt actually shows Julio Jones running a little bit and catching the football.
Oh, hey. Is that what they do?
I'm not sure if that means anything. I mean, I'm not sure.
Does it not mean anything?
I don't know how much you can take away from the little individual periods and stuff like that. That's not my job to figure that out. But Julio Jones has practiced 2 days in a row. Can I say something about this, though?
Sure.
I think a lot of fans, it's very easy to say, okay, Derrick Henry's out. And to use the baseball analogy or a basketball analogy, if you're getting 30 points a game from Derrick and he leaves, you need AJ, who's averaging 15, to now average 20. You need Julio, who's averaging basically no points a game, to come in and give you 10 points. You need somebody else to come in and give you 5 points, and you need somebody else to come in and give you 5 more points. That's what you would need if this were a basketball team. Now, is it likely that you're going to get that? I don't know. But I have my reservations about how much the Rams game matters because it's an NFC game. You're pretty much on top of the division. Everything that's happened to you in the last week, you're traveling across the country. They're going for the Super Bowl by adding Von Miller. It's going to be a very big game for them. Like, how much do I expect the Titans to beat the Rams? I'm going to tell you, not a lot.
They're the top seed in the NFC currently, aren't they? If they're not the top, then they're second.
I would assume Green Bay is the top seed, but Green Bay's got their own issues right now that they're dealing with.
Right.
But the bigger thing here, they're the fifth seed. The bigger thing here, as far as this game's concerned, is I need Julio to be healthy for the later games. Like, I need Julio to be healthy for the Dolphins and the Jags and the Texans and the 49ers and those games. And if this is going to be one of these things where Julio is out for 2 weeks and then plays for 2 weeks and then is out for 2 weeks and then plays for 2 weeks, then I just assume Julio not play this week. If it's going to be like that. And I don't know what the doctors are telling Vrabel, but I'm just saying that's what I would assume that they just go ahead and do, because I think even if Julio plays, you're probably not going to beat the Rams, whereas if he plays the next week against the Saints, that might make a much bigger difference than if he plays against the Rams.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough situation here because it would make sense to say, hey, this feels like a game that's going to be incredibly difficult to win with or without Henry, but especially without Derrick Henry. Julio Jones has been dealing with an injury. Going head-to-head with Jalen Ramsey right now doesn't necessarily seem like the best health choice to make for Julio. But I also feel like there is a little bit of a football guy mentality that comes into play here that's, it's every week. Doesn't matter who the opponent is.
You're in.
You're good, you're healthy, let's play. So I tend to agree with the former. Like, hey, let's be strategic with this. This is going to be a tough game to win. We need you against the Texans, against the Jags, against those AFC games. I just don't know if that's how the Titans are going to approach it.
Let's go to the phone. 615-737-1025. Phone lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Tito in Nolensville texts in and says, you're looking at this all wrong. This will put the pressure needed on Tannehill to show that he can be the guy when needed. In the playoffs, teams are always going to be locked in to stop Derrick Henry. And in the playoffs, the philosophy of making Tannehill beat you has worked for the opposing teams. This is an opportunity for Tannehill to show I can win by putting the ball in my hands.
I mean, is this Tito's first time listening to the show?
I don't know. I didn't ask.
Is putting pressure on Ryan Tannehill or putting responsibility on Ryan Tannehill, is that not something that I feel like happens regularly on this show?
That is nothing new on this show.
I mean, this is something that since the Ravens game in the playoffs last year, 165, 1 touchdown, you lose. That's not good enough. Now, I don't think the Titans can change their offense. Like, I heard Tony Dungy today on Darren Donick and Chase, and he was talking about, maybe they change how they do things and they throw the ball. No, they're not going to do that, Tony. Like, there's no way. They may throw it more. Like, say they were throwing it 24 times a game. Maybe they'll throw it 28 times a game. But they're not throwing it 40 times a game.
Right.
Like, they're not going to do that. Now, is it going to put more pressure on Tannehill? Yes.
100%.
Yes.
It's not all of a sudden Jeremy McNichols' team.
No. And we said with this schedule the rest of the way, it's on Tannehill to get them to the finish line. It's on Tannehill to get them into the playoffs by beating the Texans twice, beating the Jags, beating the Dolphins, beating the 49ers, and winning one or two of those 3 games against the Saints, Patriots, and Steelers. It is Ryan Tannehill's responsibility to do that. We'll see if he can. 615-737-1025. We're back to your phones next. 615-737-1025. Join Caroline Fenton this Saturday at Sam's in Murfreesboro at 1720 Old Fort Parkway and catch the SEC Game of the Week, Auburn at A&M, and enjoy some great food specials and some great beer specials. I'm a huge fan of Sam's as well. Stillman & Company, it's ESPN 105 The Game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Even though freeze warnings have expired, we're still looking at a chilly day. High temperatures only warming to the upper 40s and lower 50s this afternoon under mostly sunny skies.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Celebrate Thanksgiving with Social Furniture and save up to 70% off all furniture. They have sofas, sectionals with chase lounge, and recliners that are all push-button electric and wall away. They have all colors to choose from for your comfort watching any hockey game. All of them are plus leather, microfiber, and Chanel's. They have same-day delivery with no down payments and no interest. Forget the big box store. Support local. Support social. Social Furniture is a proud supporter of your Nashville Predators.
Hey, it's Jared Stillman. Guys, are you tired of feeling old? You know that feeling. You don't have any energy. You're gaining pounds. Well, guess what? My friends at Invigorate Health are the ones to help you. They don't just focus on one area of the aging body. They take care of all of it with so many different therapies that can restore your vitality and are designed with you specifically in mind. So give them a try. Invigorate Health if you want to feel young again. Out in Mount Juliet at 615-288-4777 or invigoratehealthtn.com.
What's up, everybody? This is Teron Davenport, and I am here to tell you about Freedom Tire Guys. They're Nashville's premier mobile tire service. New tires, rotating, balancing, flat repair, torquing, they do it all. I can tell you this from personal experience. Just a couple weeks ago, I was at the Titans facility. They came there and changed my tires, all 4 of them. They did an excellent job. My car is riding extra smooth now. If you're in need of tire service, be sure to check them out at freedomtireguys.com. If you don't see the tires you want, they'll go ahead and get it for you.
Your home value is way up. Why not use it to make your home even nicer with a new kitchen or bathroom? Hey, Willie here. So many of our listeners are doing this with Loan Pronto, thanks to their zero-cost cash-out refi program. Call Loan Pronto now. They're fast-tracking home refis for the year-end, and people are getting checks for $60, $70, $100 grand or more. It's fast and easy. It's your money, money you can use to add even more value to your home. Imagine 2022 with that all-new luxurious kitchen you've been dreaming about, or start building that pool so it's going to be ready for the summer. Call Loan Pronto now. See how easy it is to use the equity in your home and walk away with the big check. They can even pay your closing costs, and you can skip your next 2 house payments. Call 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. That's 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans apply.
Darren McFarland.
And a mulligan that we all look for in golf. Lord knows our game could use it.
Willie Donick.
Outworked and outperformed a lot of other really good players.
Chase McCabe.
I want some sort of trade protection.
Darren, Donick, and Chase have you covered weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Curacion CBD on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
You're listening to Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving.
Stillman and Company, the TD Power Hour coming up at the top of the hour. Join us in partnering with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's Light the Night. Nashville's Light the Night will take place tonight, 7 o'clock. It'll be virtual. Learn more at lightthenight.org/TN. We've got the Titans here on deck. Again, who knows how much Adrian Peterson's going to touch it. I had somebody text me earlier today when we were talking about the McNichols thing and who's going to get it, and they said 8 to 10 carries for a week for Adrian Peterson. Does that sound about right?
8 to 10 carries?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's about right. I think I originally said maybe 10 to 15, leaning more toward the 10 side.
Here's the thing I don't understand, and I could be totally wrong about all this. Like, I thought Foreman was a beast when he played at Texas. And then I thought he was okay when he played with the Texans. And then he got cut there, and he came in here last year. And, he kind of had this, like, baby Derrick Henry thing going on that I kind of liked. He played in 6 games. He averaged 4.3 yards a carry. He got 22 rushes. He had 95 yards. Now, I don't know why nobody likes this kid, but I thought he played okay in the games that they let him play last year, but then, like, pretty quickly they moved on from him. And they didn't bring him back to training camp this year. And they really, until Derrick Henry got hurt, it feels to me like they didn't have any interest in even having him on the practice squad. So I always kind of thought that was weird, like when it comes to Foreman. There was one game against Cincinnati that he played in. He got, 5 carries against Cincinnati for 37 yards. I thought he played okay. But that's just me. Well, let's go back to your phones. As promised, what do we have?
One texter texts in and says, that without Henry, the running backs are not still going to get 34 touches a game, right? The game flow is going to have to be different. McNichols is going to have to be a receiver out of the backfield more in order for us to try and keep pace with other teams. It's the running back style. The running back style is going to lean toward Adrian Peterson on run plays.
Okay, so the 34 touches is not 34 carries. That is how many times you either throw the ball to the running back or you hand the ball to the running back. Mm-hmm. And Derrick Henry averages about 30 and McNichols averages about 4 touches a game.
Yes.
In this, I hope it stays close to that 34 range. I would agree that I think, when it comes to who's got to step up with Derrick Henry out, it's everybody in the lineup. So it's Michael Pruitt is going to have a bigger role. Ferkser is going to have to catch more passes. Mm-hmm. Julio is going to have to get out there and catch some more passes. But I still think for this offense to be successful for how they operate, the running backs need to still touch it probably 32 times a game. I mean, you still need to be running the football. You still need to be trying to maintain your time of possession. You still need to be having your offensive line run blocking more than pass blocking. Like, those things I don't think can change. So I still think it's probably about 34, 32 touches a game. And then how do you get there amongst the 3 running backs? The more I think about it, the more, let's say you've got 34 touches and McNichols is your top back out of the backfield. Mm-hmm. 34 touches, McNichols gets about 10 carries and about 6 targets. So now you're talking about 16. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you do that, 34 minus 16, you've got 18 touches to go. Uh-huh. Peterson gets 10, you're still at 8. Now, are you going to let Deontay Foreman touch the ball 8 times a game? Because I don't love the idea of Deontay Foreman touching the ball 8 times a game. But I also don't want to throw the ball 8 more times a game, which now means, okay, more so like Peterson's got to get 2 more carries, and McNichols has to get 3 more carries, and then I'm okay with Foreman with 3 touches. But that's where I feel like they are. But the idea of now that Derrick Henry's not there, the 34 touches for the running backs a game needs to go down. I don't think that's how Vrabel feels. And I think Vrabel told you that on Monday when he said, we're not going to change our offense, throw it 40 times a game. And we're definitely not going to throw it 40 times a game this week against the Rams.
And I don't think Titans fans want that to happen.
Fans love throwing the ball.
Okay, but Titans fans. I think Titans fans understand.
Titans fans love throwing the ball too. It's a really weird thing that happened over the years. Mike Mularkey takes the job. And Floyd says the best way to get good quickly is to run the football and play defense. That's the way that you build a team inside out. And then, if you draft a great quarterback or whatever, then you go from there.
Yeah.
But the easiest way to be good is to run the football and play defense. And so Mike Mularkey gets hired as coach of the Titans. They trade for DeMarco Murray. They draft Derrick Henry. And I don't know when Mike said the words exotic smash mouth, but kind of like these political buzz theories, like defund the police or critical race theory, where I'm not even sure people know what those actually are. I'm not even sure I know what some of those are. But people say them on TV all the time. And
they're
it's
buzzwords.
oh yeah, they're just these buzz phrases. And so exotic smash mouth was something that Mike Mularkey said somewhere along the lines.
I like it.
Well, nobody here did, because everybody here thought Mariota was good. So there was this sense of, hey, he's holding Mariota back. And I think, just to be fair, I think Clay Travis kind of led that charge. And I don't think it would surprise anybody for Clay Travis to take a buzzword or a buzz phrase and blow it out of proportion and then, have one extreme opinion one way or another that drives a lot of people, even though it may not actually be the right opinion. And he could, you're holding Mariota in the garage. You're keeping the Ferrari in there. And that was how, a lot of fans felt. Run the ball. This is not 1963, run the ball. And so they fired Mularkey, even though he won an inordinate amount of games for a Titans coach. He won a bunch of games, and they fired him, and they hired Vrabel. Now, Vrabel's a defensive guy, so whatever. Then they hire Matt LaFleur, and it's yeah, baby, the Rams offense. Light them up. Let it go. Let them eat. And then everybody kind of realized, Mariota's probably not great to throw the ball 35 times a game. Probably not a good idea.
He's just not that guy. You're not that guy, pal.
No. So then they started giving the ball to Derrick Henry reluctantly, because Derrick ran for 99 yards on a play, and it was maybe we should give him the ball some more. And then he got 238 in the Jacksonville game, and it was let's just keep giving Derrick the ball. And then I think everybody in town realized, hey, give it to the big man, because they had done the other thing. It's we tried it your way, fans, with Mariota, trying to be the guy, and now we're giving it to Derrick Henry, and as we said, let the big dog eat, and they let the big dog eat, and finally it paid off. So then fans kind of got behind running the ball. But I don't think Titan fans, if it's anybody but Derrick running the ball, I don't think Titan fans are interested in, being a run team.
Well, if Ryan Tannehill, knock on wood, I'm not saying that he will, but if Ryan Tannehill throws 3 interceptions against the Rams, I think that Titans fans are going to get a little bit fed up.
How
with
scared to
throwing
death
the
are
ball.
you about Tannehill turning the football over without Derrick Henry?
As scared as I could be. How scared as I could rationally be about Ryan Tannehill turning the football over, especially getting pressured by Aaron Donald.
The fans are not going to like that.
I'm worried.
Fans do not like criticisms of Ryan Tannehill, especially the obvious turnovers, which now, at first, I think people used to think that this show was just Tannehill bashing. Now I think they've seen enough of the bad decision-making that it's
I mean, I will give Tannehill credit where credit is due.
We love Tannehill.
This is a pro Tannehill show when he deserves it.
But the turning the ball over and handing it to the other team.
I'm not going to kiss your butt when you turn the ball over.
Not something that people around here like. What else we got?
Another texter texts it in and says, but we are still in position to win the AFC and get the only bye. Don't you think that we should continue to try and get that first place in reference to sitting Julio against the Rams? It will definitely help this team in the long run. Plus, hopefully get Derrick Henry back. So I think we should try to win every week when possible.
Well, I mean, they're going to try to win every week when possible. But I think at the same time, I think even if the Titans give it their best shot against the Rams, I don't feel good about their chances. It seems like this is a hamstring injury, and it's going to be a recurring injury.
Mm-hmm.
And the best way to keep the hamstring injury from recurring again is to rest it. So if you can rest it an extra week in a game that you're probably going to lose, given the circumstances, that's just my opinion on it. Yeah, I mean, I guess they could get the number 1 seed in the AFC, but...
And they very well could beat the Rams.
Don't you feel like losing Derrick Henry kind of keeps you from getting the number 1 seed in the AFC?
It doesn't help.
Then again, you and Joe think that getting rid of Ronald Acuna was the best thing that ever happened to the Braves.
Never said it was the best thing that ever happened to the Braves. I'm just saying they most likely would not have rebuilt with key pieces that led them to the World Series.
Well, they would have gotten another outfielder because Ozuna got suspended for domestic violence.
Yes.
So they would have gotten another outfielder. And they would have had Ronald Acuna Jr.
I'm not saying that not having Ronald Acuna Jr. helped them. But I'm just saying the moves that they subsequently made were guys that really helped the Braves out in the World Series.
One of those
this
guys,
isn't the craziest theory.
One of those guys, probably Duvall, is going to be on the Braves no matter what, even if Acuna had still been in there. Like, they would have made a move for one of the guys.
Okay.
Because I went to a game in Miami, the one that he tore his ACL, and their outfielders that day were him, a guy named Eric Almonte, and Guillermo Heredia. And they were not going to go the whole season with Almonte, who they later cut, and Heredia starting. So they would have made a move for at least one outfielder, probably two. They made a move for 4 outfielders.
Yes, they did.
And
they just all happen to be big sluggers in the postseason.
Yeah, Jock Peterson's 0.67 average in the World Series with no home runs, surely. My theory on this is that Ronald would have been better, even though those 4 guys contributed at different times. Ronald would have been better than all 4 of them. Like, he would have been a better player than all 4. And that he probably would have been the value of 2, maybe even more. Like, we're talking about one of the best players in the sport.
I guess we'll never know.
Right, but you're making the assumption that that is the case. And there's, like, I think it's a ridiculous assumption.
No, I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying it's a theory that I happen to believe.
That you believe. There's a lot of theories that people believe. TD, the TD Power Hour is coming up next. Where does TD think the Titans go from here without Derrick Henry? And his thoughts on the Rams game. We'll get to that coming up next. FanDuel Sportsbook is my official sportsbook app. The halfway point of the NFL season is here, and FanDuel wants you to get the most out of every play, and that's why they're giving everyone a $10 risk-free bet every week. Thursday night is a great opportunity to give it a try. All you have to do is bet a same-game parlay with 3 legs or more, and if your bet doesn't win, FanDuel will pay you back up to $10. Jets and Colts tonight, you got to feel like the Colts are going to actually show up in this game. But then again, Mike White and the Jets lit it up on Sunday, so who knows? Maybe the Jets will do everybody a favor around here. FanDuel Sportsbook, you get fast payouts where you can get your winnings in as little as 2 hours, according to FanDuel. There's no feeling like nailing a same-game parlay, so lock in your bet today. If you're new to FanDuel, sign up with the promo code JGM to also receive 30-1 enhanced odds on either team to win during the Sunday afternoon matchup between Green Bay and Kansas City. Win $150 on a $5 bet. That's promo code JGM, so they know that I sent you. 21 and older and present in Tennessee. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund $10. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Same game parlay available for multiple sports in all states on mobile and web. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789.
The voice of reason.
274 yards, 2 interceptions, 0 touchdowns. You're not going to win a game that way.
The voice of the fan.
I'm tired of let's just give it to a quarterback.
The voice of Nashville sports is your home of Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Now's the time to get a great deal on Kubota construction equipment featuring durable Kubota engines, more comfort, more productivity, more get it done right. The Kubota construction lineup shows up ready to work every day. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment for 0 down, 0% APR for up to 60 months. Now through December 31st. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more details.
Get the ultimate mouth guard with affordable coverage from Delta Dental of Tennessee. Offering a large network of dentists and a variety of plans, you'll get better coverage than a defensive secondary. Learn more at deltadentaltn.com.
Well, here we are at Pour Vu. Any great words of wisdom as we peruse the 10,000 square feet of wine, spirits, beers for our tailgating and upcoming holiday parties?
One thing, great minds drink alike, huh?
Nice. Wow, look at all the wine.
Hey, don't forget to buy a bottle from Mom. Remember, you're the reason she drinks.
Hey,
check it out. Pour Vu has their own app, curbside, and home delivery. Tonight, I will be having my favorite drink. It's called A Lot.
I only drink on days that begin with T. Today, tomorrow.
Well, you're in luck because Pour Vu's new tasting bar is in effect Thursday through Saturday, right next to the humidor.
Party supplies with mixers, hard to find small batch specialties, and tequila.
I am telling you, you can't buy happiness, but you can buy tequila, and that's kind of the same thing, right?
Tequila, because no good story ever starts with that one time I ate salad.
Right? Pour vous means for you. They really have the best selection, service, and knowledge we didn't find at the big box stores.
May all your days be filled with umbrella drinks.
Pour vous. Open 7 days a week at Indian Lake Boulevard, exit 7 off Vietnam Vets in Hendersonville.
The 1025 The Game text line is driven by Wilson County Hyundai. Online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. Be a part of the conversation by calling or texting us at 615-737-1025.
Nashville's best sports talk, locally owned, home of our Nashville Predators. WPRT-FM Pegram, 97.5 Murfreesboro, WBUZ HD2 Laverne. Online at thegamenashville.com. We are
ESPN
1025 The Game. Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving. It's ESPN 1025 The Game. We're delivered by TriStar Moving. We are streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. It is the TD Power Hour. Teron Davenport is presented by FreedomTireGuys.com and Craneworks and RentalWorks. FreedomTireGuys.com, Nashville's premier mobile tire company. Online at FreedomTireGuys.com. Craneworks and RentalWorks, your source for crane and equipment rental. Visit Craneworks.com. What a wild week we have had, TD. How are you today?
Hey, man, every day is a good day. I'm excellent. How are you?
I am good. Breaking news, by the way, the Titans have released Daniel Munyer. So the offensive lineman that had many issues snapping at training camp.
Mm-hmm.
We wondered about him the other day when they added him to the active roster. It sounds like the Floyd Reese. Did we get some tape of him practicing when he's healthy? All right, send him to my office now. Thank you. Sounds like that may have gone down with Daniel Munyer. But, TD, what a week it has been for the Tennessee Titans. Derrick Henry, with a broken foot, helps them beat Indianapolis on Sunday. You were there when you guys were waiting to talk to Derrick, and he obviously didn't come out because he was, quote-unquote, receiving treatment. We now know why Derrick was receiving treatment and what all happened. He's now on IR. Adrian Peterson and Deontay Foreman have been signed. What do you make of kind of the situation the Titans find themselves in, 6-2, playing well, but without the king?
Yeah, this will be your classic distribution of labor case. Obviously, they're not admitting to it that it'll be a committee, but do remember Mike Vrabel, when he was asked about not changing the offense on Monday, he mentioned how other teams have used a running back by committee. They moved swiftly to bring in Adrian Peterson. Deontay Foreman was signed soon afterwards. And so that tells you right there that they know exactly what they want to do as far as how this offense is going to work. And I think when you look at Adrian Peterson's running style, you look at Deontay Foreman's size, I think these are guys that can bring not the same physicality because, I mean, let's face the facts. There isn't a human being on this planet that runs the football as well as Derrick Henry does. So you're not going to replace him with one. They're going with the committee. And Jeremy McNichols will be mixed in as well. So that's the way I think they're going to end up working it. It's going to be interesting just seeing how everything pans out because sometimes, you know, you get that hot hand, right? And you want to ride that hot hand while that back is in the groove, but then you also want to make sure everybody gets their touches. So Todd Downing's going to have a lot of balancing to do.
So not thinking what they're going to do, but what would you do as far as how you would start – you know, a game plan out, and maybe not for the Rams because Peterson and Foreman have just gotten here, but in general, how would you approach a game right now with the three running backs you have, with the fact that you brought up the hot hand? I mean, if Foreman is out there just ripping off 7 yards of crack, then I'm going to keep giving the ball to Foreman or to Peterson or to McNichols. But how would you go into a game right now if you were Todd Downing?
Well, I would give guys series. Like, you know what McNichols could do for you for the most part, but I would see what Peterson, you know, can do. I would see what Foreman can do within those series, and I think, you know, that's where the scripts come into play and those type of things. However, everybody makes this big thing about scripts, and yeah, you do have scripts, but how many times have you heard Todd Downing say, you know, Sometimes the flow of the game takes us away from the scripts, right? You may face an early 3rd and 20. You know what? You don't have that scripted within your first 15 plays. So I think what they're going to do is just kind of feel it out, see how the flow of the game works. But I firmly believe they're going to run the football still, and that would be my approach. I would still run the football, work that play action off of it. You don't need to have an outstanding rushing attack to have good play action. The Rams are one of the best play action teams in the league. Darrell Henderson, as much as I liked him coming out of Memphis, he's not instilling much fear in any opposing run defenses. So I would still run the football and work off of that, and I think that type of formula it's good for going to LA to play a team like the Rams, and I think it just fits what they want to do, period.
How much do you think Peterson has left, TD?
That's a good question. You know what, and I'm going to say I'm guilty of something today. I am guilty of something today. I don't get starstruck too often, but I caught myself looking at Adrian Peterson like, wow, like this is that dude. You know what I mean? How much does he have left? I don't know. You know, I went back and I was watching, 2019 and 2020 and even 2018. And he ripped off a 90-yarder in 2018. Obviously, that was 3 years ago. I still think he has some left. He's clearly not the same player as he used to be. But here's the thing. He could still run with a degree of physicality. And that's what you need in this offense. So, for me, I think it's a good fit. Obviously, it's not going to be the same. He's not as explosive as he used to be, but I still feel that he can have a presence for them.
How much do you think his knowledge of the game, knowing gaps, knowing defenses, how much do you think that will play a role on like a 2nd and 3 or, situations? Because I kind of see them using all 3 guys situationally. If it's 3rd and 11, even if it's Deontay Foreman's series, Jeremy McNichols is going to be in the football game.
Well, here's the deal. It's not so much his knowledge of the scheme as much as it's his style, right? He's a one-cut and get-upfield type of back, and that, Todd Downing confirmed that when I asked him stylistically, why does Adrian Peterson fit? But I'll tell you what it is mostly in those situations. It's his vision, okay? You watch Adrian Peterson run. He has the ability, and watch him as he approaches the line, he has the ability to kind of see stuff develop before it actually does. And that's special, right? Vision for a running back is imperative, but what makes a running back an elite running back is having that vision. But what makes him one of the best ever is to be able to marry the feet with that vision. And right now, at 36, I'm not sure that Peterson, he'll see it, but the question is going to be, can he get his body moving quickly to where he sees that hole developing? He can't do it as quickly, and that's something to watch. But when he used to break off those long runs, a lot of times he'll run to the towards one side, and he'll look and see that hole, that backside hole developing, and he'll cut through there, and then he's gone. I just want to see if he's still going to be able to get to that hole. I don't believe he's going to be able to break off that long run still, but I still, in short yardage, to be able to see that and get to it, that I think is going to be a plus for him.
I think, to your point, that if you're getting one, Eric, they probably would like to see them get between the 3 of them. Vrabel, you brought up what he said about not wanting to change the offense, and I would agree. I don't think this offense is set up to throw it 40 times a game, especially with the line.
The team's not set up for that. The team itself.
And the defense is not set up to be on the field as much as you would need them in that case. But how much do you think Tannehill will be asked to do more without Derrick Henry there?
I don't think he's going to be asked to do a whole lot more, frankly. I believe they're still going to execute that offense. Like, they're not going to ask him to be a 35 to 40 pass attempt per game type of guy. I mean, there's going to be games where he does that just because of the flow of the game. But I don't really subscribe to this whole thing where Tannehill has to suddenly morph into, Patrick Mahomes or Dak Prescott. I still think Tannehill could be Ryan Tannehill and an effective passer. Now, the one thing that I would like to see him do a little bit more is work that downfield passing game, but that's going to be a little bit tougher now because you got safeties not overly concerned about creeping up towards the line to come up and help in run defense, because going against Derrick Henry, that was the big thing. Your safeties, they better tackle, because if they don't tackle, it's a house call. That's not as much the case now, and that's going to impact a little bit. But I give you a number here, right? When you look at Ryan Tannehill, right, since 2019, and this is from ESPN Stats and Information, and I thought this was interesting. Now, I'm not saying that, Derrick Henry makes Ryan Tannehill or vice versa, because I believe together these guys are the real deal. But I will say this: since 2019, with Derrick Henry on the field, Ryan Tannehill's QBR is 79. Without Derrick Henry, it's 55. Now, his yards per attempt with Henry on the field is 9.1. Without Henry, it's 7.5. So those are some interesting numbers, right? And now, again, you could use stats to really design any type of argument you want. So I'm not saying that that's the end-all, be-all, but that is something to consider. I still think that Ryan Tannehill will continue to play the way that he has. And if anything, the one that you need more from, mostly, is A.J. Brown.
I think A.J.'s in a tough spot. But what those stats said to me, it reminded me of hearing Floyd before the 2020 offseason saying, I either want them both back or I don't want either back. And I'm like, what? And he's like, he goes, I'm either bringing Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill back or I'm not bringing either back. And I was like, that is a take, but it makes sense when you read out those stats, how they affect each other. I'm with you on the A.J. front because, I mean, Indianapolis, and I know Indy plays that kind of like Tampa 2 zone kind of defense, but I'm watching Indy and I'm like, are you guys ever going to put more attention on A.J. Brown? Because he is just murdering you guys out there.
Yeah.
And now I think everyone's going to put more attention on A.J.
Here's the thing about A.J. Brown, and Chris Sanders mentioned this on Talking with TD this week. I wouldn't be opposed to putting him in the backfield. I agree with him on that. Now, I'm not saying, have him play running back, 15 snaps. I'm saying give a different look. Then the other thing you have to think about, A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, even Chester Rogers catching short passes, that could be an extension of the rushing game, right? Wide receiver screen, the smoke routes that they run. That's an extension of the rushing game. Yeah, it goes in the books as a pass attempt, but it's not really a drop because Tannehill is just catching it and throwing it. So that's another way to kind of get more out of your guys on the outside, your receivers, and also be able to make up for the loss of everything that you're losing with Henry.
TD is with us for the TD Power Hour, presented by Freedom Tire Guys and by Rental Works and Crane Works. Coming up next, big award for Kevin Byard. But does it speak much more to a very promising development for the Titans? We'll get to that coming up next. Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. You all know that those are my guys. That's right. I use Hiller at my home, and I absolutely love the job they do. They come in every time, fix whatever issue I have, and they are gone, and I never have to bring them back out to fix the same issue because their trained technicians know exactly what they're doing. You've noticed all the inventory shortages and empty shelves everywhere, and now there are serious shortages on equipment and products for your home. HVAC systems, tankless water heaters, and generators are going to be extremely limited in 2022. If you need a replacement, call my friends at Hiller today. Don't wait until you are out of options because Hiller has special financing available. Buy now and pay nothing until next year. Their work is backed by the Happy You'll Be, your service is free guarantee. Learn more at happyhiller.com. Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, proud supporters of the Vols, the Preds, and the Vanderbilt Commodores. Hiller, call the Happy Face Truck today.
The Titans season has taken a turn with the Derrick Henry injury.
I'm sure Derrick Henry was saying, I'm not coming out of this game. This is a big game. But he was not right. The whole game, you could tell.
For all the latest on the King.
You're not going to be able to replace Derrick Henry. He's the equivalent of a franchise quarterback in the league.
Keep it locked on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Racetrack's new waffle breakfast sandwich will satisfy whatever you're craving in the morning. With golden waffles and melty, hearty goodness of sausage, egg, and cheese, it'll be love at first bite. Only $2.99 for a limited time.
Hey, Nashville.
We think you deserve the very best driving experience, and now is the time for our Season of Change CPO event at Mercedes-Benz of Music City. When you purchase a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz, you're backed by the remaining new vehicle limited warranty. Once that expires, the certified pre-owned limited warranty goes into effect, providing an additional 12 months of coverage with unlimited miles. See all the perks and exceptional offers for your certified pre-owned vehicle from Mercedes-Benz of Music City, mbofmc.com.
Your home value is way up. Why not use it to make your home even nicer with a new kitchen or bathroom? Hey, Willie here. So many of our listeners are doing this with Loan Pronto, thanks to their zero-cost cash-out refi program. Call Loan Pronto now. They're fast-tracking home refis for the year-end, and people are getting checks for 60, 70, 100 grand or more. It's fast and easy. It's your money, money you can use to add even more value to your home. Imagine 2022 with that all-new luxurious kitchen you've been dreaming about, or start building that pool so it's going to be ready for the summer. Call Loan Pronto now. See how easy it is to use the equity in your home and walk away with the big check. They can even pay your closing costs, and you can skip your next 2 house payments. Call 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. That's 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans apply.
Hey, it's Jared. Your body needs water. That doesn't mean it has to be boring. And I'm here to tell you to give Focus a try. Focus is a sparkling water with a spark. It's infused with a boost of natural tea caffeine, so you get clean energy without sugar, calories, or crash. Go to drinkfocus.com to find the full lineup of flavors and get them delivered right to your door. Enter promo code GAME at checkout for 15% off your first order. Focus is also available at your local Publix. That's Focus, P-H-O-C-U-S, on the web at drinkfocus.com.
Genesis Diamond's biggest and final sale of the year is here this weekend. It's an incredible event with savings of 20, 25, even up to 35% store-wide. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, nothing's held back for this once-a-year 3-day extravaganza. Acclaimed designers are here with expanded collections and extraordinary pricing. Plus, get 0% interest financing. The final store-wide sale of the year with discounts up to 35% this Friday, Saturday, and yes, open Sunday for this great event. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
When Genesis Diamonds has a sale, you know it's the real deal, and it's happening this weekend. Our final store-wide sale of the year with deep discounts up to 35% off. This is the big one. The one where the staff knows they can break all the rules. Plus, the selection is nearly doubled with designers here from LA and New York with their entire collections, all of it on sale. This is the last and best jewelry buying opportunity of the year. Save up to 35%, zero interest financing. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
Interact with Stillman and Company. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
The TD Power Hour is presented by Freedom Tire Guys and Craneworks and Rental Works. Teron Davenport with us. Kevin Byard named AFC Defensive Player of the Month. TD, I was surprised when I saw that today. Not that I don't think Byard's had a great month, because he has had a great month. Game-winning interception the other day. He had a big interception in the Bills game. I mean, he's played great. But, Landry has played great. Autry has played great. Dupree has shown up lately. Simmons has made some big plays. David Long Jr. has played well. I do wonder, the Kevin Byard AFC Defensive Player of the Month award, how much of that really is a team defense award, and how much optimism, as the Titans lose Derrick Henry, should there be about the developments in the defense over the last couple of weeks?
I mean, you could say that about any award. Football is a team sport. I mean, this is obvious. So, yeah, I mean, it is partly a team award, but you have to look at what Kevin Byard has done. The team has 9 turnovers over the last 6 games. Guess who's accounted for 4 of those? Kevin Byard. If you look at the Jaguars game, guess what happened? Picked up a fumble and returned it for a touchdown. I don't see anything wrong with him winning the award. I think, I get it is a team award, but again, if last year, who was the MVP? What's the court? Aaron Rodgers, right? Well, if Devontae Adams, well, first and foremost, if David Bakhtiari and the gang up front, if they don't block, he's not going to have a chance to throw the football. If he throws the football and Devontae Adams doesn't catch it, he's not going to have any stats. So yeah, obviously it's a team game. So you're always going to have an award have a lot of team aspects to it. I will say this, what has helped everything, and Shane Bowen right up front, he said it. And this is something that, I was saying last year about the secondary when everybody was killing him and saying cut Byard and, send him on a rocket ship to the moon and all that stuff. The pass rush wasn't getting home, and they weren't getting a pass rush, period. They're getting that now. Front end and back end, they rely on each other. So, yeah, it is, again, a team sport, but there are some things happening that, is helping Byard, but at the same time, you still have to have the instincts. You still have to have the ball skills, the GPS for the football that Kevin Byard has. You have to have that to be able to be around the football.
How much last year do you think, and the pass rush was very much a big part of it, which is why they spent so much on, Dupree and Autry, but how much of it, too, was maybe the rest of the secondary and everything else, and him kind of having, I don't want to say to cover for a lot of different people, but maybe that's probably why those ball skills had to take a little bit of, or those, big plays out of Byard took a little bit of a hit compared to maybe how much better it's been around him this year.
Yeah, I mean, you also have to look at the way that he was used. Kevin Byard is your classic post safety. He is that guy. He's your center fielder. He's Eric Davis. You know what I mean? He's the guy that you allow to have that range. Or for you, just for you, he's Andrew Jones. He's that guy that you have to, allow to use his range. He has that range, and like I said, he has that GPS for the football. When you have him playing in the box a lot more, you don't really get to display that. So I think that's a big thing, just allowing him to play that top-down type of defense.
TD, I think Danico Autry is a silent difference maker. And maybe silent is not nice enough because he has made some pretty loud plays this year. But when they signed him, I liked the Bud Dupree signing. I loved the Autry signing because I just thought, because every time the Titans played the Colts, he was so big and so nasty and always back there on Mariota and back there on Tannehill. And, I think Autry is not the key to all of this, but he has certainly been a humongous piece of what they've done. And I think without Derrick Henry in the mix, if this defensive line can keep doing what they're doing, I think they have a potential for the defense to help out the offense even more so, kind of pick up the slack with Derrick gone.
Well, make no mistake about it. They're going to need more from the defense just as far as these shootout type of games, right? That Buffalo Bills game. You don't have Derrick Henry in there to run that 76-yard touchdown. I don't know how that game turns out, or even this game, the fourth down. And you know what? Let me just take a second just to look at that real quick. Derrick Henry getting that run, right, on the broken foot, sticking his foot in the ground and lunging forward off of that. If you have any type of dislike or craziness to not have the utmost respect for that man, just watch that play. Just watch it and understand that he did that on a fractured foot. So and the direction that he was going, he's driving literally off of that area that was fractured. So that's my Derrick Henry testament for the day. Now back to the regular programming. I think this defense absolutely has to step up, and you are 100% right. I want to slap myself for saying it, but yeah, you're 100% right. Danico Autry, that signing, and it was one that I liked as well because just as you said, he murdered the Titans, all the time. And just getting that guy to bring that physicality up front and that versatility. I had no clue that this dude could stand up and play outside backer. But that one game when they only had 3, guess who was the starting outside backer? So I think it's not just the impact on the field. I think it's the impact, not just the impact statistically, it's the impact versatility-wise too. And he's very strong against the run also. So it's a very underrated signing. And he's brought just a real nice degree of physicality and also has allowed them to use that different package, that they kind of tailed off on doing lately. But, for that Bills game and the Chiefs game, they went with that package, with him and Dupree on the outside, Simmons and Landry on the inside.
What do you think David Long Jr. has given the Titans that they haven't had over the last couple of years?
You want to see me smile? You say that name, man. I absolutely love watching David Long play. You hear me? I love watching him play because the instincts that he has, and then even the physicality. There's a Twitter account, no flags film. Really good film breakdowns. He's able to use the videos and stuff. I wish I could use them, but I can't. But he posted a video of David Long taking on the right guard and jacking him up and throwing him to the side and going after the ball carrier. I think what he brings is just juice, if anything, like energy, and that youthful energy that he brings it helps that defense, but just playmaking skills, man. I love his ball skills, what he's able to do, in coverage, in space, everything, man. David Long is a guy that I could talk about for the rest of this show, so I'm going to stop, but I'll just say this. I love watching him play.
I want to go back to what you just brought up about Derrick Henry on the 4th down, where he lunged off a broken foot to get it. And it was one of those plays where Indy had it sniffed out. I thought Indy attacked it really well, and Derrick Henry was simply just not going to not let themselves get a first down on that play. I talked to somebody who used to be with the Titans, and we were talking about Javon Curse having the same injury. And for Javon, Jeff Fisher came out when it happened and said 6 to 8 weeks. It ended up being 13 weeks for Javon. And that kind of makes me nervous when it comes to Derrick. And the person who was with the Titans said to me, I mean this with all due respect to Javon, and Javon was a great player and a great person. He goes, I'm not sure that Javon had Derrick's level of toughness. Knowing what we know about Derrick, TD, I have a hard time not seeing him find his way back onto the field at the end of this season.
I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't find his way back onto the field round 2 of the playoffs if they make it there. Like, that wouldn't shock me. And it could even be sooner. It could be longer, though. So I think you have to look at both things. The thing for me that stands out is you have to remember, medicine has advanced quite a bit from when that happened to Javon Curse. So that's one thing. But then also you're right. Derrick Henry is a different. I call him the Martian, right? So he's different. But the thing that really stands out to me, and in talking to Adam Bobo of Elite Training here in Nashville, his attention to recovery is just as intense as his attention to training. So when you balance that out, I think your body is more conducive to being able to come back from an injury and those type of things. Now, I'm not here to sell false hope. I don't know when he's going to come back, and that's going to, really determine how quickly everything recovers from the surgery. Dan Orlovsky said that's a process that, 6 weeks is on crutches is what he sees it was for him, right? And, Adam Schefter is very firm on it not being him not coming back, and I know – that's from sources within the Titans organization. So, there's give and take there. But I think it really just determines on Derrick Henry. And for me, in watching him and just knowing about him, he has a different work ethic, a different approach to things. And I wouldn't be shocked if he's back.
Well, and didn't you get the vibe from listening to Vrabel Monday that Vrabel doesn't think that he's out for the season? At least that's what I interpreted. Vrabel kept talking about, Derrick's going to try to get back out there, and when he's ready, we'll want him out there. But it didn't sound to me like Vrabel is resigned to the fact that Derrick may be done for the season. Well, that's just how I heard it.
I think that's a classic case of leaving the door open, right? I think that's really what that was. And, again, this is a man that doesn't go to timelines and those type of things. So, hey, he said, oh, yeah, there's a chance. And, there obviously is a chance. So I don't think it was him leaning one way or the other. Just as much as just walking that line, hey, it could happen. We don't know.
So you think Schefter's sources that told him the season are with the Titans and not with Derrick's camp?
I believe so.
Interesting. 615-737-1025. If you've got a question for TD, get it in on the text line. We will take those at the end of the hour, as we always do on the TD Power Hour. There's a big football game on Sunday. Sunday night with the Rams. What does TD think about the explosive L.A. Rams with Matthew Stafford? We'll get his thoughts there. And then, of course, we'll get to your questions for TD. The TD Power Hour presented by Freedom Tire Guys and Crane Works and Rental Works. TriStar Moving, my official movers. That's right. I moved literally a year ago and 3 days with my friends at TriStar Moving. And they did a fantastic job. And I'm not just telling you it because they present the show. I'm telling you it because I hated moving. And I still kind of do hate moving, but not when you have friends like I did at TriStar Moving. There's a reason their motto is TriStar Movers with 5-star service. From the initial phone call to the final signature, moving is a breeze. They offer home protection where they cover your floors, banisters, railings, door jambs, and even the doors themselves. They are always upping the game when it comes to mover training. They are the best, and they have a state-of-the-art storage facility in Mount Juliet. Their owners, Garrett and Robert, are true Nashvillians, and they want to help out their hometown and the people of it, which is why their company is on the rise quickly, because TriStar Moving holds a very high standard. Give them a call if you're looking to move, 615-640-1219, or visit their website at nashvillemoving.org/radio, where you'll get 5% off your entire move. That's TriStar Moving, 615-640-1219, nashvillemoving.org/radio. Tell them Jared Stillman sent you for TriStar Moving, my official movers.
This is Mikhail Kraland, and this is Nashville.
Rebound shoveled in by Mikhail Granlund, and the Predators have tied it up on the power play.
This is the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network. ESPN 1025, their game.
Listen up, sports bettors. This is Hall of Famer Warren Sapp here to tell you about my favorite sports book, BetUS.com. I only endorse one sports book, and that's BetUS.com. Just like me, BetUS is the Hall of Famer of online betting with more than 25 years in the biz. Call today, and they will get you set up faster than I can run the 40. I play at BetUS, and so should you. BetUS.com.
Use code GAME for a sign-up bonus.
Tell them Sapp sent you.
Hose and Belting Specialties in Murfreesboro is your local source for hydraulic, air, water, and chemical hoses, along with conveyor, timing, and metric belt needs. They stock metric fittings for both air and hydraulic applications. Hose and Belting Specialties stocks Parker hydraulic hoses and fittings, Goodyear Conti-Tech industrial hoses, and V-belts, just to name a few of their lines. For any of your industrial needs, call 615-895-HOSE, 615-895-HOSE.
Are you tired of living with chronic pain, knee pain, joint pain? Listen carefully, because now there are new treatments available here. Not talking surgery or steroids. These are regenerative treatments from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics. Willie Donick here. QC Kinetics is the leader in these exciting biologic therapies that help restore and repair damaged tissue in your joints with lasting results. So if you've got pain in your knees, shoulders, hip, or back, joint pain that won't go away, you need to check out these new treatments with astonishing patient satisfaction reports. They can actually help your body restore and repair itself with no downtime, no drugs, and no surgery. So call now to schedule your free consultation at QC Kinetics. 615-249-4024. Tired of dealing with joint pain and want to get moving again? You need to learn more about how biologic therapies are changing the way we think about dealing with joint pain. It's exciting stuff, so don't wait. Call today. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024.
Rolling Loud presents rap superstar The Baby live show Killer Tour. The Baby.
As if I got a reason to act like I'm lonely. I saw my
Nashville Municipal Auditorium, January 19th. Get tickets this Friday at 10 a.m. at livenation.com. The Baby for one incredible night in Nashville. For full show info and more, check liveshowkillertour.com. Saturday afternoon.
He is going to be gone. Touchdown, Middle Tennessee.
The MTSU Blue Raiders head north for a Conference USA showdown against rival Western Kentucky. Coverage begins at 1:30
on ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is Jordan Rogers, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 1025 The Game.
How's Stafford done with the Rams? What are you seeing from him maybe in their offense?
He's at top of most statistical categories. Great grasp of, what they want to do. His ability to manage the line of scrimmage. Great cadence, arm talent. The way he moves inside the pocket is very impressive. So, they're playing extremely well. They're playing extremely explosive, and it'll be a great challenge.
There you go. That was Mike Vrabel talking about the LA Rams Sunday Night Football. I assume TD, the TD Power Hour presented by Freedom Tire Guys and Crane Works and Rental Works. I assume you will be at SoFi Stadium on Sunday?
Absolutely.
I want to go see that stadium. I need a full report on SoFi Stadium, because if Derrick Henry comes back, there's a chance we could all be there in February.
Yeah.
And so need the full report. The Rams, though, 5th in the league in total offense, 21st in total defense, but that's misleading because they're 10th in points. And they just added Von Miller. What are your thoughts on the Rams ahead of Sunday Night Football?
Yeah, that front is going to be – because Leonard Floyd on the other side, another alien, and Aaron Donald in the middle. I mean, this is going to be a fun defense to watch. So I think, there's a lot to be made about the yards that are given up. But as you mentioned, the points, they're top 10 in points. It's bend but don't break.
I look at the Rams – in this game, given what happened this week with the Titans, and I have a hard time seeing them being able to muster a victory. But every time I think I feel that way about a Vrabel-led team, they go out there and they win. And so we've called that the Mike Vrabel special.
Yeah.
How much of that's in play this week, given what all's happened? You got the 3 emotional wins in a row, the big win in the division, the Derrick Henry injury. Adrian Peterson and Deontay Foreman have been here for a couple of days. You're traveling across the country. It looks like Julio Jones might play. How much is this kind of setting up for that, and how much of a real disadvantage are the Titans at going into Sunday?
Yeah, I don't think, traveling to the West Coast is a disadvantage in this case, especially because, you're playing a night game. So, there isn't any difference that much as far as the routine is concerned. So that's not much of an issue. But I think they are, at a disadvantage going against this Rams team that is really good, right? And Jalen Ramsey, him versus A.J. Brown, that alone is worth the cost of admission. So that's a matchup I'll be watching. But I want to talk about the offense that the Rams have. And I think that's where the Vrabel special is really going to come into play, because you really have to figure out a way to stifle this offense. And when you have a guy like Matthew Stafford, right, we know from seeing Matt LaFleur come here, we know that Sean McVay scheme is very much predicated upon booting and play action and those type of things. What makes this offense different with Matthew Stafford as opposed to Jared Goff is now you could boot the quarterback to the left and have him throw the ball across the field, down the field to the right, or vice versa. And they've done some things. I actually, in my Whiteboard Wednesday, I focused on this. It was I think it was a 67-yard touchdown to Van Jefferson in the season opener, and it was done exactly like that. So that play action, you really have to be disciplined with your eyes. We talk about Kevin Byard, right, and that GPS he has for the football, playing in center field, right, as a post safety. That play action, if it's coming to your left, and there's a deep route that's coming to your left, you have to understand that, hey, there's a good possibility that there's a route over top of it, or there's a route that is going the opposite direction to the right. So it kind of puts the safety in conflict. And then also just what they've been able to do with Cooper Kupp. You see a lot of crossers, they'll have double crossers, right? And they'll have one deep, like a dig, and then he'll run the crosser underneath, and the dig will take a defender out of the way, and he'll have a big window to catch the football and get the yards after the catch. That's exactly what Shane Bowen was talking about when I asked him why Cooper Kupp is hitting so many more explosives. He's getting a lot more plays he has 3 plays of 50 yards or more. 3. 2 of them, it was because of Yak. So they're doing things to set this up. And now you have a quarterback that hits him on stride, on schedule, and he catches it and he could turn it up. This offense is really good. Haven't even mentioned Tyler Higbee, who's a very good pass catcher at the tight end. You got the Nashville product and Van Jefferson. And Robert Woods is as good as they come route running wise. So there's a lot that they're going to have to be concerned about. Not sure what's going to happen with this right corner situation, right? Chris Jackson and Greg Maben, they missed practice today. They were out yesterday for the walkthrough. That's another thing to be concerned about.
TD, how hard is it going to be against this line with the ball that comes out so fast from Stafford for Autry, Simmons, Dupree, and Landry to do what they've been doing?
I'm not sure what his, the timing of snap to throw is, so I can't tell you for sure where they are with that. I've seen them run, a good amount. Still, I feel like, these guys – try to impact the quarterback. And one thing to remember is you don't always have to get to the quarterback to impact them, right? Like, you could realize you're not going to get home, stop, jump, and now you're taking up a passing lane, right? You match hands with them. So those are some of the things that they'll need to do if they go to that quick passing game.
Do we make of anything of the fact that if you look at the Rams schedule, and I haven't watched the Rams play a ton. I watched them crush Tampa Bay, and I watched them play like the Colts week 2 of the year, which came right down to the wire, but they just murdered Carson Wentz in that game. But outside of that, I mean, their wins, other than the Tampa Bay win, the Bears, the Colts, the Seahawks, the Giants, the Lions, the Texans. I mean, their last 4 games have been Seattle, who's not very good right now, the Giants, who are terrible, the Lions, who are the worst team in the league, and the Texans, who might be worse than the Lions. I do wonder if there's an element here where the Titans have been playing good teams and, have been kind of battle-tested with the Bills and the Colts giving them their best effort compared to what the Rams have seen so far.
I'm sorry. I'm not buying that. You play who's on your schedule. Like, I mean, these are all professional teams. Yes, some games are harder than others, but the Seahawks game, that's a divisional game. It's going to be tough. I don't care what the records are. The Giants.
I want to say that Russell played that game and broke his finger.
Whatever. But still, it's a divisional game.
I mean, there's a big difference between Russell and not Russell.
It's a division game. Obviously, it's sunny outside at 3:43. You're saying the same thing. Obviously, there's a difference between Russell Wilson and Geno. That's, not breaking news. But what I'm saying is you really can't get caught up in who a team plays, right? You can only play who's in front of you. So all of that hogwash, let's just throw it out the window. This Rams team they are a good football team. I don't care if it's the Cardinals, Seahawks, Lions, whoever. They're a very good football team. So it's going to be a test. This isn't an easy game for the Titans.
Where would you rank them in the NFC?
In the NFC, 1 or 2.
Like, if you had to give me of the team, like, I think this is going to sound crazy. I think Dallas might be.
Well, Dallas is the other team that I'm talking about.
Like Green Bay, maybe. I don't want to. I'm never going to rule out.
Let's save the time. 1 or 2. I mean, 1 or 2. Dallas or the Rams. Those are the best 2 teams.
Not Arizona?
No. I think the Rams are a better team.
Even though Arizona beat them by 17 at home?
I think the Rams are a better team.
Interesting. We'll take your questions for TD. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Well, I mean, they lost by 17 at home.
Yeah, that's one game.
I know it's one game.
Last time I checked, there's 8 games. Last time I checked, there's 8 games, right? A full body of work.
Right, but like, for example, I think Tampa's pretty good, but I wouldn't say Tampa's the best team in the NFC right now. Okay. But Tampa beat Dallas. The Rams beat Tampa. Arizona beat the Rams. Green Bay beat Arizona. I mean, like, they've all beaten kind of each other. So it's like, to me, I think it's a total grab bag at the top there. I don't think it's as simple as the Rams and Dallas. Because Green Bay's pretty good.
I think it's the Rams and Dallas. And let me just, kind of put you on a little something. The Cardinals got a little bit worse when J.J. Watt got hurt. The Rams got a little bit better when they acquired some guy named Von Miller. So there's also things that have happened as well.
Sure. I mean, and I think that, like, if Green Bay gets the number 1 seed, that then makes it different than if Dallas gets the number 1 seed. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. We'll get to your questions for TD, and we'll do that next. Stillman and Company, it's ESPN 1025, the game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Chilly this afternoon. Sunshine only going to help warm us to the upper 40s and lower 50s. And then another freeze warning goes into effect after midnight for another chilly start tomorrow.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face truck today.
Some people think fall is the best time of the year. It may also be a great time to consider getting vaccinated against COVID-19. Brought to you by BioNTech and Pfizer.
Genesis Diamond's biggest and final sale of the year is here this weekend. It's an incredible event with savings of 20, 25, even up to 35% store-wide. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, nothing's held back for this once-a-year 3-day extravaganza. Acclaimed designers are here with expanded collections and extraordinary pricing. Plus, get 0% interest financing. The final store-wide sale of the year with discounts up to 35% this Friday, Saturday, and yes, open Sunday for this great event. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
When Genesis Diamonds has a sale, you know it's the real deal, and it's happening this weekend. Our final store-wide sale of the year with deep discounts up to 35% off. This is the big one. The one where the staff knows they can break all the rules. Plus, the selection is nearly doubled with designers here from LA and New York with their entire collections, all of it on sale. This is the last and best jewelry buying opportunity of the year. Save up to 35%, zero interest financing. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
Ryan Porth back again to tell you about Dr. Kelly Rice, Family Cosmetic and Dental Sleep Medicine. Earlier this year, Dr. Rice, I was disappointed to have a cavity filling even after brushing my teeth all the time and having regular checkups.
Ryan, cavities are like any other health condition. You don't really know you have one until it gets bad. Recently, I saw a patient for treatment that they had been putting off. Something that could have been simple to fix 6 months ago turned out to need a root canal and a crown. Postponing treatment costs more and takes time away from work.
Well, I can attest to the fact that if I had not been doing regular checkups, I may have had to get a root canal by now. But thanks to your great staff that has been taking care of me for almost 15 years, my teeth are as good as they've ever been.
Well, we do things differently. I want to let people know that if they're afraid of pain or worried about the cost, they are not alone. Don't be embarrassed. We understand. Give us a call at 615-373-4488. That's KellyERice.com.
Dr. Kelly Rice, Family Cosmetic and Dental Sleep Medicine, 615-373-4488.
Attention Nashville, 3-Day Blinds is here to solve your window treatment needs. 3-Day Blinds has more than 40 years of experience designing, installing, and manufacturing high-quality custom window treatments. We transform homes with custom blind shade shutters and drapery with expert in-home design consultations. Your 3-Day Blinds design consultant is with you every step of the way, including setting up your installation. Book your free in-home design consultation today at 3dayblinds.com. That's 3dayblinds.com.
Robbie Stanley.
Maybe it doesn't hurt their bottom line this year. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen on that front.
Joe Rexrode.
5 guys who are on the roster are not going to be on the roster.
Get your morning started with Robbie and Rexrode every weekday from 6 to 10.